Hello guys and welcome to a new Steel Division video today by me Vulcan. Today I have for you a 2 vs 2 ranked game on Bois de Limors, and in this one I'm going to be using the 6th Airborne deck. I'm also playing with Valh, who's going to be using the 3rd Canadian Infantry, and we're playing against Pilot 3D and Hitman, who are going to be using the 352nd and the 3rd Fallschirmjäger respectively. So we didn't know this before the game, but at the time Pilot 3D was actually the rank 4 on the leaderboard. So he basically had about 99 wins and 4 losses I think when we checked, and that was pretty crazy. So this was definitely one of the best games that we've played in a while, and I'm super excited to show it to you guys. Let's jump to our perspective and I'll talk about the sort of strategy we were going to go for throughout the game. So it's probably pretty obvious, but as the 6th Airborne I'm going to be taking the forest, mainly because I have the infantry that works well in close quarters, and then Valh is going to be taking the right side and covering off from the edge of the forest. So he's got quite a lot of work to do on that right side, quite a lot of ground to cover, but I'm going to be focusing really hard in the forest and trying to break through early on to make a difference in this game. Aside from that, Val's also going to be sending me some reinforcements on this left side to give me that initial push. And if I just select all my troops, I can show you guys where they're going, and we can talk about what sort of units I'm bringing in. Basically, it's a mix of command infantry, airborne paras. We've got some pathfinders in there. We've got some Piat squads. We've got some Vickers HMGs, a mortar carrier, and I think that's about it. I was basically very infantry heavy at the start of this game, and I also brought in a lot of these Piat squads, which is kind of, I guess, not something that you see very often. But I'm playing against the 3rd Fallschirmjäger, and I'm pretty sure the 3rd Fallschirmjäger division is going to be coming into the forest. And the last thing I want to be dealing with is the L6s. Now, since the last patch they have been changed, but this was played on the previous patch, so those L6s was still something I really had to worry about. And therefore bringing enough Piat squads to deal with them was something that I felt more secure in doing. Now, most of my infantry does have the 100-meter gammon bombs, but Piats are just that little bit extra range that really gives me the confidence that I can kill those units if I have to. By the way, myself and Valh are amassing some troops on the right side of the forest here. We've got 3 units of Stormtroopers backed up by a rifle leader, and I've got my own airborne leader here alongside my airborne paras. Furthermore, I have my sniper moving up to the edge of the tree line here alongside my Willys MMG. Then I've got a airborne leader with a Vickers HMG. This Vickers HMG is actually moving to the edge of this tree line here so that it can see down the road to the right and to the left. Then I've got the Piat squads obviously following up, and this airborne paras is going to be running up this sort of tree line here. I've got my pathfinders moving up on the left side, and airborne paras are coming up behind them. That's pretty much it. My mortars sitting back here waiting to go. They've already brought out an ME-109. And there goes the first kill. So that's a LG-40 there, killing off one of Val's Bren carriers. The sniper's going to be opening up onto the MG-34, and so the game begins as we start engaging their major forces. This LG-40's doing a relatively high amount of damage, hitting Val's links pretty hard there. Trying to get the pathfinders on target to harass the LG-40, and we're finally bumping into Flammenwerfers and Fallschirmjägers. Stormtroopers at close range absolutely annihilate Fallschirmjägers. We deleted the flamethrower squad in basically one hit from the Stormtroopers, and both those Fallschirmjäger squads are already dead. My snipers unfortunately go down to an opposing infantry squad. My mortars coming in and hitting our own troops, which wasn't the best idea, but basically it was just to assuming that the engagement with the Fallschirmjägers would last a bit longer. So it slowed down our progress a little bit moving into the forest, but not too bad. Allowed this Fallschirmjäger to pin us down, but Valh has the Stormtroopers moving up through the tree line here, covered by the smoke, in order to take out the MG34 at close range. So most of these units will recover their morale and be able to move up. I've also got my units on the left moving up, as you can see. Airborne Paras coming over, some reinforcements on their way. Got these Airborne Paras moving to where the sniper squad was, just to check if there's any infantry still there. These Airborne Paras are finding themselves an LG40. Now ideally in these situations I should be moving them forwards into 100 meter range. You can see that's exactly what I'm going to do. As he moves away, the LG40, the range on this is going to be like roughly just over 100 meters. So my Airborne Paras are just trying to catch up with the LG40 so they can engage it with their Sten guns, because with their Sten guns they have 12 HE. So it's definitely worth getting into that 100 meter range, and you can see there they finally do. And they're going to be running down the LG40 before I know it. Also bringing in some extra smoke here, just to make sure that I'm not hit by any extra fire support. My Airborne Paras do find an MG34, and we're going to be engaging that as well. They're engaging that with a total of 14 HE, and the MG34 is not going to last too long at all. Flammenwerfer squad was spotted coming into the side of the tree line, but that's not too bad. 3-star Airborne Paras squad should be able to just kill off that flamethrower squad instantly. We're going to be moving on with Valh Stormtroopers up here. Those Flammenwerfers going to get absolutely annihilated. And there goes the Grenführer to Valh Stormtroopers. There is also an MG42 here, but that's not too much of an issue because Valh Stormtroopers smoked off the roads. And the Osttrooper next to my Airborne Paras are going to die very quickly, whilst Valh Stormtroopers deal with the next Osttrooper. So over on this left side, an engagement between Pathfinders, Airborne Paras and MG34 and Fallschirmjägers. This isn't the best engagement range because the Fallschirmjägers get all of their HE on target from this range, and so does the MG34. So what I'm going to do is actually bring in the mortar fire and try and smoke that off so I can use the engagement range to my advantage as opposed to theirs. My Airborne Paras here completely surrounded, but they're busy killing off Osttrooper as well as the Fallschirmjäger here. If I can get rid of the Fallschirmjäger, then we can make the other units surrender. And Hitman realizes that, tries to pull them back, but they die anyway. And this means that the Osttrooper, as soon as they get panicked, will actually surrender. ME-109 G0 coming in though. Pilot's going to be bringing that in to support Hitman. Airborne Paras in the forest here, going to be killing off another Flammenwerfer squad. Smoke's continuing on the left side, but my units had to fall back, so just trying to get them back up at the moment. And we're continuing through the forest. So Airborne Paras again taking out another Osttrooper, but they're going to get pinned down by Pilot's ME-109. And we're also going to bump into more Fallschirmjägers. So on this left side, we can see that Pilot had actually reinforced Hitman with his own Osttrooper and Grenführer, whilst we were also engaging Hitman's Fallschirmjäger. So we had a lot to deal with at this point. So I'm actually bringing up the naval battery, using that off-map artillery to try and make a difference. In the forest here, my Sten gun and the Leonfield taking on the Fallschirmjägers at close range. And again, that's 14 HE power versus 6 HE power at that range. So the Airborne Paras have a decent chance of winning, which is really what I'm going for there. I'm also moving up the Airborne Vickers to help out. Airborne Paras moving up again through this tree line. And I've got my Pathfinders getting into close range of the Fallschirmjägers. So that's exactly what I wanted to see. I'm also going to be moving forwards the Airborne Leader and the Airborne Paras over on the left side. So we get rid of these Fallschirmjägers. We're killing the Fallschirmjägers in the top side forest there. My Airborne Paras are just out of range of using their Sten guns on the MG42, so they're going to get pinned down before they know it. There is an Airborne Leader here though, so they're not going to actually surrender. ME-109 still harassing us in the sky, but as long as we're in the forest, we're not too worried about that engagement. So Airborne Paras, Pathfinders deleting this Fallschirmjäger squad. We got the Fallschirmjäger squads coming down from the top of this forest here, Hitman's going to be reinforcing there, and my airborne paras are trying to do their best to take out one of the squads there, but there's no command unit, so I have to be careful that that doesn't get forced to surrender. So I'm bringing up a second unit behind them. This airborne paras was actually fallen back, and we also fell back with Valh's Stormtroopers. He's also brought up a Bedford supply so he can resupply the grenades that they use, the satchel charges. Over on this left side, I do lose my airborne leader to an MG42 and the Fallschirmjäger squads. That was a bit of a mistake because I didn't... As we ran through the smoke, like basically the smoke dissipated, and then there was 2 squads left on the left side of the smoke, exactly where my airborne paras were, or my airborne leader, and that just allowed them to kill them off very quickly, which was really annoying. Either way, airborne para is going to be finishing off the MG34 and the Fallschirmjägers nicely. Pathfinders are going to be finding me another MG42 squad there. So we're still only running like a +1, really. The Axis do have 74 points. This is only like 50% territory because we're taking holes in the right side. Val's being hit hard by the IG combos. So MG42s, IG18s, and then the packs as well. And it's really annoying to deal with. So Val's having a hard time with that. Meanwhile, we're trying to make as much ground as we can through this forest. I've got my combination of airborne paras here. I've got my off-map ready to go, and I'm actually going to be off-mapping this area at the moment. So if we jump to the neutral perspective, here comes the off-map artillery. That's going to be pinning down a lot of the units on the right side of the forest. That's really what I was going for here. And now we're going to be charging across with my own airborne paras and the Stormtroopers to try and take out some of these units, because they're all going to be falling back and pinned down. But in general, over on this left side, you can see that our opponents are basically scrambling to defend the left side. Hitman coming in with his Fallschirmjägers, whilst Pilot 3D is reinforcing with his MG42 and Osttruppen. Meanwhile, on the right flank, there's the whole combination I was talking about: Pack 38, IG18, Osttruppen, Fusiliers. I mean, it's interesting to watch the number 4 player use exactly the same strategy as I use, which is kind of making me feel a bit more confident about my own play. But either way, let's continue with talking about the game. Airborne paras going to be engaging some more Fallschirmjägers, so we're going to be killing off even more of these guys, and at the moment, things are going really well. In comes the off-map artillery, hitting us very hard here. Doesn't actually end up getting any kills, but basically pins down Val's ram and my airborne leader here. The airborne leader should have really been moving up with the rest of the infantry, but I forgot to move it up, which is actually quite a big mistake, because a lot of these infantry squads would have been way more effective had my airborne leader been nearby. Bringing out some more reinforcements for the left side. Fallschirmjägers actually surrendered to my Vickers and Paras combo. And there's going to be another unit of airborne paras down here soon, but in comes the mortar fire from the opponents now. Because HMG is able to engage the MG42 here, and I'm moving my Pathfinders out wide to move up with the rest of my forces to the top side of this forest. Val's Stormtroopers are really doing a number on the Osttruppen, and I've also got some more airborne paras following up. These Stormtroopers just doing so much damage to the opposing forces. As long as these guys trade 2 for 1, they're always worth it. I've got my Vickers HMG into position to start pinning down infantry in the open, so that's going to be helpful. And these are 6-man squads, so what do we know we're up against? That's right, it's Sturm Pioneers. Sturm Pioneers are the napalm infantry on the Fallschirmjäger deck, so we're going to have to be dealing with some of them now, and that's where things start to get rough, because although I have airborne paras on my division, I'm actually going to be starting to run low. So you can see I'm bringing in airborne Bren Group, and airborne Bren Group, yes, they can pin down and kill off Sturm Pioneers, but this was the Sturm Pioneer squad that briefly got hit by the Vickers HMG. So yes, we can kill off Sturm Pioneers, but not as effectively as airborne paras, because we have 8 HE as compared to the 14 HE of an airborne paras. So Ostrouper are going to be coming down to the bottom side of the tree line here. They're going to get hit by the Vickers HMG. And they're also being charged down by my Airborne Piet squad. Airborne Paras at the top side of the forest here are going to get killed off as well. Pathfinder's trying to take out this Kubel. Excuse me. So the Airborne Snipers come up on the left side. That's to help take out this MG42. The Airborne Bren group here are engaging the Ostroupen. And over on the right side, things aren't looking too great. Val's moving up with a bunch of rifles to push through the tree lines. I'm bringing up some recon to help out on the right side as well. It's just some Pathfinders to provide that recon so we can see what's going on. And then I can bring up some more reinforcements. I think this is a Tripolston, just so that we can maybe vie for air power. In comes some more off-map artillery over here. That did a lot of damage to these Airborne Paras squads, as you can see. They're down to 1 health and 2 health. Val's Stormtroopers aren't looking healthy either. My Airborne leader's pretty low on health. And yeah, basically what started to happen was a lot of my infantry is crumbling, basically. It's, you know, we've done a lot of damage and we've made a lot of ground, but we're still running a 50-50 because we lost the right side, and now attrition is taking effect, so that, like, the point where I'm sending forwards infantry squads with, like, no health. They're not doing as much damage as they had, or as they were, and that's really starting to affect our chances of victory. So in come the L6s. I expected to see these sooner, but the Airborne Paras there going to be taking out one of the L6s with the gammon bombs, which was nice, but then he's going to get absolutely wrecked by the other L6. Brought up my Tripolston. That's going to be having a go at this MG42. Going to be trying to pin that down. The Tripolston's going to be forced to reload there, which is annoying. So they're going to be able to pin down my Tripolston before I pin down the MG42, just because of that reload. Really annoying. Either way, Pathfinders are going to get pinned down here and wrecked by Fulton Pioneers. And this is where, again, where the Fallschirmjägers really come into fruition, because they have Sturm Pioneers, they have Fulton Pioneers, and both of those combined can really wreck basically the rest of the infantry that myself and Val have access to. So we're starting to get pushed back now. The Airborne Bren group are reasonable, but not as good as we'd like. And now off-map's going to be hitting our left flank and pinning down a lot of my Airborne Bren group and the Pathfinders there. These Airborne Snipers going to be trying to shoot this Grenadier, and shows itself to the L6, and goodbye to the Sniper, that's for sure. So ideally I should have had that Sniper on return fire at that point, but either way. Pathfinders are trying to push across to the MG42, whilst the Tripolston gives them like support, but that's not going to work out. And Val's brought in 2 Mosquitoes to engage the Focke-Wulf 190s. I've also brought in a Tempest, but they now have 4 fighters. I'm also bringing in a Mosquito Pathfinder to help out. Mosquito Pathfinder is going to get the Focke-Wulf 190 to fall back, but I'm going to be on the tail, or going to be having an ME-109 on my tail. I'm just going to have that Mosquito Pathfinder fall back because it got hit very hard, and now the ME-109s are going to be hitting Val's Mosquitoes as they fall back. So that's not good, because Val's Mosquitoes are actually really expensive, and you can see here that he's going to just get away, I think, with the second one, but he lost the first one, and that's like 200 points. Also, I lost my Tempest, which is 160 points. So we're really struggling for the air at the moment. My Pathfinders here aren't affecting the front line, so I managed to get away with sneaking them up and killing off one of the Ostroupen squads. And I'm trying to get the Gammon Bomb onto the L6 there, but the L6 gets away. Airborne Bren group engaging the Grenadiers from max range, going to be killing them off. And I've also brought up the Willys MMG, but that's going to be engaged by the Panzer L6. Piet squads engaging some Grenadiers there with their Sten guns, but just going to be trying to run away fast as I can. Piet squad was exactly brought up to take out the L6. On the right side, Sturm Pioneers going to go down to my own Assault Pioneers, and I'm also going to be hitting them again with the off-map, and that's going to kill off 2 Sturm Pioneers in this forest, do a lot of damage to these Fulton Pioneers and Grenadiers, and I still have my Assault Pioneers here with a Satchel Charge, so they're good to go. However, my Bren group getting hit very hard by 2 Fulton Pioneer squads. Airborne leader just keeping those guys alive. Pathfinder's still in the open, should have been falling them back a lot sooner. And over on the left side, Pathfinders and Bring Group versus Grenadiers and Luftwaffe-Jäger. So, yeah, just trying to make this engagement work out. The Pathfinders should be able to kill off the Grenadiers, and I was focusing them down because they're the only ones that are reasonably decent. Then the Luftwaffe-Jäger should be able to surrender very quickly. So now going to just kill them off, and we're going to win that engagement. So on the left flank, things are going relatively well. But in the centre, definitely not. Most of my infantry has died off now. I'm relying on these assault pioneer squads because they really do trade well into like Fallschirm pioneers and Fallschirm Jägers and so on. Because all they need to do is get a satchel charge on target and then they win. But what I'm going to be doing now is bringing in more off-map. My first off-map was finished, so going to be bringing in another one, and in hindsight I probably should have brought in a second one sooner to help with the engagements of these Grenadiers, Fallschirm Pioneers and so on. Because getting rid of the Fallschirm Pioneers is like so important when it comes to playing against this division. So again, some more Jaegers coming up. Bren Group and Pathfinder is going to be engaging those alongside the Piet squad. Air landing, trying to get a Piet onto the L6 there. And this is really what I'm relying on now. It's air landing, assault pioneers. Pretty much all I got left in terms of infantry. On the right side, we're still not making enough ground to push that +1, so it's really a bit of an issue at the moment because we've made all this ground on the left side. I put so much effort into the ground on the left side, but because we didn't push the right side efficiently enough either, we haven't been running a +1 for the majority of the game when we probably should have been, which is quite annoying. We're still running 565 points in the lead, but every sort of second that this game continues, it's just going to get worse for us because I'm running out of that infantry, like I was saying. So we're going to kill off the Jaeger squad on the left side. Focke-Wulf 190s and all of these planes are going to just be strafing us on the ground now because they pretty much can. We lost the air war in that initial engagement, which was really annoying because I'm a 6th Airborne division, so unless I want to lose the ground, I need to continuously invest there, and that's not allowing me to have enough points to invest in the air to combat all of this air force. Now the air force is mainly just like these fighters strafing me on the ground, so I'm not particularly worried about it. And finally here, the air landing does take out the L6 with a Piet squad, or with a Piet. I'm also bringing up Cromwells for the right side now. They're reasonably good with their 5 HE for taking out like the IGs and the other like packs and so on. Pathfinders are providing all of the recon here, so that's good. And I've got another Cromwell here alongside a 203mm off map, so that off map's just going to be trying to help secure the right side whilst we hold the left. So yeah, I should have brought up another off map for the left side. I actually end up bringing up 2 Tetrarch CSs, and the reason for this is because I was planning to defend at sort of where this tree patch is in the middle of the forest. And if I can basically align some Tetrarch CSs here with some recon, then I can basically just fire into the tree lines as they come out, and that will allow us to just hold the line where we are, rather than me trying to send air landing to kill Fallschirm Pioneers, which honestly is never the best idea because Fallschirm Pioneers have those HE grenades, and air landing just don't really stand a chance. I've also got my 3-inch mortar trying to do the job, but there you can see an air landing squad is going to blow up. Assault Pioneers are sort of standing on the edge of the tree line there. Probably shouldn't have been, since they don't work well at long range at all. Air landing, just holding the line here, and Airborne Bren Group and the Pathfinders are slowly being whittled down under the continual advance of Jaegers. Hitman's just constantly bringing in those Jaeger squads. Look at how many squads he had here. This is Hitman and Pilot pushing against my 2 squads, which have been holding there for so long. And although a lot of my units were being cost efficient, it just wasn't looking good at the moment. Vickers HMG is trying to get on target onto these Grenadiers, but they're going to be supported by the SBW 204. So this HMG does a lot of damage at this range. You can see it's killing off the grenadiers very quickly. The lethality of an MG squad, 3-star MG squad, is very high. But now comes the mortar fire. We're going to be killing off this grenadier squad here. Going to be making them surrender, and that's 2 more grenadier squads down. So you can see that we were like definitely trying to be as cost efficient as possible. On this right side, one of my Cromwells has gone down. HS-129s are now a problem because we do not control the air. So this is a big deal. One of Val's Fireflies goes down there, and that's a bit of an issue. However, my Cromwell is down on the far right as well, and that's helping take out the MG42. I'm just trying to push forwards as far as we can on this right side, maintain this +1 lead that we've gained by poking a hole in this right flank. So just bringing up loads of other recon now. I'm basically just getting low on infantry, so I'm just supplementing that with the airborne scouts. And I also need this recon to work with the Tetrarch CSs. So I've already lost one of the Tetrarch CSs. I wasn't entirely sure how, but yeah, going to be moving up the airborne scouts just to provide the recon information for the Tetrarch CS to be effective. Air landing, now engaging some Luftwaffe Jaeger, and I'm just trying to get the kill there onto that squad. And I finally do. So that's got rid of one pesky squad. Airborne Vickers coming up to try and defend the road and the left side. Finally, my off-maps come up. 381mm. Should have brought it up sooner for the left side. I had the 203mm actually come up for the right side. Should have had another one for the left side, because that would have allowed me to challenge these Fortune Pioneers a lot more effectively without having to sacrifice my own infantry. But we are still running the +1. So victory in 14 minutes and 51 seconds, which is the rest of the timer on the game. We've got 747 points. It's just gone back to 50-50, so that's going to sit at that for a little while. SPW 204 is coming up here, so airborne leader's waiting to hit that with its gammon bomb. Vickers HMG is going to be engaging the grenadiers across the road here, and that's a good engagement for the Vickers, but the Vickers just doesn't have the health anymore to really continue that engagement. And if the grenadier gets its MG34 on target again, the Vickers HMG is not going to have a good time. This air landing also goes down to mortar fire and the advance of the MG42 there. Vickers HMG doesn't kill off the grenadiers before it gets killed, and this Fusilier squad had broken through the front line. Is now going to be advancing towards my Piers. So I was bringing up the Tetrarch CS now just to hold the left side, hopefully with the Vickers HMG. The Vickers HMG did not last. Bringing up some more Tripolstons to hold the left, because if I can hold across this road, then all of these units here should be pretty much useless. And that's really what I was going for, but I'm being pushed really hard at the moment in the centre. So this attritional warfare still going on. Val's brought up his kangaroos alongside the rifles, and I've got my airborne scouts here to engage the Fortune Pioneers. Tetrarch CS does get taken out by the Fusiliers because they were behind enemy lines. I actually didn't know that these guys were here until they fired, so that's going to be causing me issues as well. Should have had an airborne scouts on the left side, but they were all in the trees at the moment in the main forest because of my lack of infantry. We are still making some ground on the right side. My Cromwell 5s were providing decent fire support for Val. I've also brought up this Tripolston, and my Pathfinders are moving forwards as well, as you can see. And this is allowing Val's mortars to get on targets to kill off the IG-18s, IG-33s and so on. Val's got a lot of those mortars at the moment. I've actually brought up my supply to continue the fire, basically, because without my supply there, Val's mortars would have run out of ammunition. 6-pounder is going to take out the SPW-AB. HS-129 is going to come in and take out one of the kangaroos. So yeah, we're in a bit of a predicament because I'm really low on infantry. Like, you just saw me bring in all of my recon infantry then in order to help defend, and that, when you see that happening, it's not great. Let's just put it that way. And I think that the main issue here was that I hadn't been using my off-map effectively. On the artillery tab, I have like four units of off-map. And HS-129 is going to make my Tetrarch CS fall back here, and then an AT gun's actually going to take out Val's Kangaroo. But yeah, going back to the artillery thing, I should have been using my off-map to support my infantry moving forwards. and that way a lot of my infantry would have been still alive throughout the game. But now what I'm doing is bringing my artillery in to plug the gaps in the front line, and you know, that's an issue, right? Because there's nothing to push after that. So I'm just attacking them with artillery and then not doing anything about it. Either way, I do manage to clear this forest of infantry on the left side. The Fusiliers and the Jaegers go down. I've also brought up obviously the Tripolstons here, but he's going to be moving at me with an SPW AB-41, which is basically the recon car with the same gun as the L6 is. And these L6 guns, like the 10 HE power, look how quickly it kills this Tripolston. Okay, maybe not that quick. Once it gets on target, look how quickly it kills the Tripolston. Okay, so 1 damage done. Okay, next volley. Oh, it actually makes it fall back this time. But I'm pretty sure that it kills it off. Either way, my point being disproven there. Do manage to make that recon car fall back for now. Airborne scouts in the forest are being killed off. And I'm literally just plugging holes with Tetrarch CSs. That's pretty much all I can do. I have no infantry, so what can I do? It was getting to the point in this game where they're now pushing a +1, and I can't do anything about it because I have nothing left. Like I think my recon tab was empty, my infantry tab was empty, my tank tab soon became empty, my artillery tab was pretty much empty. you can basically tell the story. Off-map artillery going to be coming in again onto that location. Not going to do too much damage to take out the AT gun that was there. I should have really been focusing on this blob of units. These Volcan Pioneers pushing up. Good thing about Volcan Pioneers though is they can be countered by the Tetrarch CS as long as they don't have any grenades left. So the Tetrarch CS is going to be coming in here, trying to get line of sight onto the Volcan Pioneers, but just didn't aim quick enough in order to kill them off. So just going to be continuing there. Got to be a little bit careful of this SPW-204 though with the 5 AP power. So just going to be turning that around and moving it back, as you can see. So yeah, things not great. SPW are going to be engaging my Tripolston, and here we go, that time. You can see the devastation that it caused when it actually hits its target. The Tripolston dying in literally instantly there. So the Airborne Scouts going to be engaging some Fusiliers, whilst my Mortar tries to make a run for it. My Mortar's in a terrible position there. Off-map artillery coming in on the right side as well, again just to try and take out some more of the fire support units in the tree lines and push back the opponents. Coming in with the Mosquito Pathfinder, but that's going to get shot down. That had actually been used before to burn out this tree line, as you can see, and I managed to take out an IG-18. The Pac-38 managed to get away, but that basically broke that right flank. So yeah, things aren't great. I'm actually bringing up a Cromwell now to engage in the trees, and the SPW taking out another Tripolston there. And that was just before my Piat gets in range, and even my Piat's not going to be doing enough. It actually just makes the SPW fall back and doesn't get the second shot off. So just letting me down as always, Piat squads. I guess they let everyone down, they're just absolutely terrible, but either way, it's the best I had, and in that case, nearly did the job, but not quite. We're getting these little blobs now behind our lines, and this is just an Osttropen squad here. That's going to be causing them to have an extra +1. This is like 54% territory lead. Val's actually going to be bringing up a Wasp there, and that's going to get taken out. Command Tetrarch's brought up to deal with the SPW-204. Still trying to deal with these Volcan Pioneer squads, but I just literally have nothing. I've got Command Infantry coming up from Valh. I think he was pretty low at this point as well. He's also relying on these Stuart Recce's, and I'm also even bringing up, I mean, this is how desperate we were. I'm bringing up a 17 or just a 6-pounder to the forest, yes, to kill off the SPW, but I don't have any infantry. So yeah, I'd run out, and I don't know if it was just me not using my infantry availability efficiently enough, or whether or not I didn't have enough infantry availability on the deck altogether. I'm not entirely sure. But either way, I just didn't expect to be at this point on my division where I only have 3 tabs available, and one of them's air, And, well, I'm not going to be bringing out Air Force anytime soon, just look at the map. So Air Force is, my air tab's kind of useless. Val's actually going to be bringing up his Mosquitoes to go for an engagement here. I'm not entirely sure why, but I think he just wanted to use them before the end of the game. I guess he could have come in and bombed some of these units, but he ended up targeting the fighters, and, well, the fighters are going to shoot down his Mosquito. We could have probably tried to save and go for like a massive airplay. It might have been worth doing. That probably definitely would have been worth doing, but I'm just trying to plug holes. Quite simply trying to plug holes, and Val's now bringing up the some more troops here alongside my dingo, bringing up a dingo to help out. But as you can see, that loads of my stuff's just being destroyed. I'm literally holding the front line with Tetrarch CSs and Willie's OP like off-map artillery units and all sorts of stuff. So yeah, it's not great. Meanwhile, on the right side, HS129 is just having a field day, taking out one of Val's units there, Focke-Wulf 190. Basically, the entirety of the Fallschirmjäger Air Force is just slamming us at the moment, and there's nothing we can do about it. 17 pounders moving up on the right side. I've even bringing up 17 pounders on the left side, even though they're completely useless. But it's quite simply to stop this front line from pushing us all the way back. And here we managed to take out an infantry squad and repair the front line on the left side, but the damage has been done. So we're 5 minutes until victory. We're trying to hold on. Val's brought up these these flamethrower squads, but they're going to get bombed out by a Focke-Wulf 190 G3. And yeah, this is just getting like so intense because we have the lead. We have the 765 points over their 415. There's 4 minutes left on the map. So we're just trying to hold as long as we can, but +1 going back in their favour again. They're hitting us over and over again with this Air Force. And yeah, it was one of the mistakes of this game, just not focusing enough on winning the air, because if we'd won the air then we could have supported the ground units effectively, especially as a 6th Airborne player. I could have easily brought back the game had I had my Air Force in play, but throughout the game I didn't. And also the off-map artillery use, I should have had another off-map artillery on the left side as soon as the first one ran out. But I brought it over to the right side where it was still relatively effective in taking out some of the fire support units that Valh was dealing with, but would have probably been more effective on the left side. My dingo's gonna go down just here to an AT gun. 17 pounders moving forwards from Valh. That's gonna get hit by some infantry. These Wasps are moving up with my dingo here and the sniper scouts to take out the opposing units there, but we're gonna see the SPW-204 actually take out my Tetrarch CS in the woods. This Piat did manage to take out another L6, but now they're going to be charged down. Pack 75mm is going to be moving up on the left side to hold that, but as you can see, holes being punched all over the place as a +2 has been engaged for the enemy. And with a +2, well, that's just what they need to get back in this game. There is 3 minutes left on the clock. Can they make it? That is the question. MU-109 hitting us hard there. Literally, we have nothing left. There's no infantry. There's no like fire support. I'm just bringing in more AT guns, even though I'm trying to counter infantry. How bad it is. Like my AT tab, my tank tab's gone. One of the challenges goes down to a pack 40. We brought it up to try and deal with the Befehl Panzer III and like the other L6s that are moving forwards. Furthermore, the Stugs were a little bit of an issue, but that challenge is going to get picked off there by the pack 40, which was really annoying. And this challenge is now going to move to the left side to engage the L6 alongside Val's Sherman III, since that's given me the command radius. So Val's Wasps going for a ride here. We're trying to find out what's causing these holes in our front line, because ideally we really want to stop them. But it's basically because they have these airborne units, and the airborne units create their own pockets because they have the wings. And even when they're surrounded, it doesn't matter. Like they don't lose the morale and lose the front line because of that. And that's why these holes are being created. Airborne scouts are trying to follow up the Alpha planet here. I should have had them near the edge of the tree line to deal with the SPW-204 as it engaged my Tetrarch CS, because this Tetrarch CS is just being run down by the 204 at the moment and is forced to surrender. Got my 17-pounder up here to counter infantry, even though it has no HE, and yes, I am well aware of that. Vulcan Pioneers being surrounded in that forest, we bring it back to a +1, but the opponents are getting a lead now. Ju-87 actually comes in and takes out my Challenger, so that's going to go down, and 1 minute left on the clock. Our opponents are beating us in score, so after all our initial work in the early game, things really coming down to the wire, and this was just an incredible game. The conquest points just continuing in our opponent's favour now. We can't let it add a +2, otherwise they'll probably win. So we're just trying to maintain the +1 now. Val's coming in with the Mosquito to try and shoot down the Ju-87, but that's not going to work out. Trying to go for the Focke-Wulf 190 now, but just doesn't have the manoeuvrability to get onto the back of that. And yeah, like, I have a lot of units in my air tab at this point that I just couldn't afford and couldn't use, because I'm quite simply holding the front line with AT guns. And if I hadn't have done this, then I would have simply been overrun on the left side. I'm already overrun, but the difference being that the front line hasn't collapsed. But either way, it gets to the end of the game. They don't have enough of a lead to gain a victory, so it actually ends up as a draw. And after the whole 40 minutes, that's what we get, a draw. So if we jump to the team perspective, I didn't do particularly great, and Valh didn't either. We both got negative kill-death ratios in this one. I think the main issues came down to, like, we had a great early game, like an absolutely fantastic early game. I think the most of our losses came in the late game when we didn't have enough infantry to support ourselves. And I think the main reason that happened was, again, because we weren't using our air force effectively, and we weren't using, well, I wasn't using my off-map artillery effectively throughout the game. If I'd had my off-map, like, supporting my troops as I move forwards, rather than investing in more and more infantry, just like had enough like off-map to support them, I wouldn't have had to rely so much on infantry throughout the game. But instead I did, and I ran out, and that really basically cost us. And over on the right side, we couldn't hold enough throughout the game to gain more of a +1, because there was many times where we were so far up in the forest on the left side, but we didn't have just enough ground to gain the +1. And in all of those times added up, we easily would have won the game. Like, even at the end there, when they were coming back, if we'd had those +1s throughout the game, that would have been a victory. But either way, that's where we're going to leave it. And if I just show you guys, yeah, US pilot, he's currently ranked 5 now. He's got 100 victories and 4 defeats, and we gave him a draw, which is, I think, in my book, I'm quite proud of that. In terms of his multiplayer experience, he's got nearly 300 games, a 75% win ratio. And if we look at Hitman, well, Hitman's not as ranked. He's got 28 victories, 0 defeats and 5 draws in ranked now. And in terms of multiplayer, 272 games with 79 victory ratio. So we're definitely up against the odds here. And in this game, because we drew, we actually gained ladder points, which was quite funny, because obviously US pilots, like, he is rank 4 and I am rank 114. So I gained like 10 ladder points for this game, even though we drew, which was crazy. If we jump over to the kills, Stormtroopers doing a fantastic job. You can see they really paid themselves off throughout this game, but we just didn't have enough of them. Like Val's, he only has like a certain amount of them on his division, and after they're gone, they're gone. So his 4.2-inch mortars as well, taking off a lot of these IG-18s, really countered those well with those mortars in Phase B. These are all like Val's kills, by the way, because I had it in the neutral perspective. And if we look at losses, well, IG-18s in the opposite direction, doing a lot of damage as well, especially to his rifles and the rifles leader. HS-129's coming in towards the end, just picking off the Fireflies. Because we'd lost air control, they just had a field day. And ME-109's taking out some mosquitoes here and there and just strafing our infantry to death. So, yeah. It was a pretty difficult game, and I think there was definitely a lot of chance we could have won it, but it just didn't work out in the end. I kind of wish I'd played the 101st Airborne, because in that case there was no chance they were coming back in that forest, and this was before their nerf. So yeah, it would have been much better, but the 6th Airborne just ran out of steam really, and yeah, it just ended up as it did. But either way, thanks for watching, hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.